everyone. Welcome to today's episode of Candid Kaya. Today, I'm here with Zakiyrah Ficklin, author of Her 20-Somethings. So stay tuned to hear her advice on how you can one day become an author. Hello, Zakiyrah.
Hey, Kaya, how are you?
Good, thank you for asking. Let's just start with letting the viewers know a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zakiyrah Ficklin. I am a recent graduate of Georgia State University. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree in public relations. I am the author of Her 20-Somethings. Woo woo! I recently published my first book in May of this year. And I also have a nonprofit organization called Her Foundation.
Okay.
And we work with young ladies who have absent fathers. And then we focus on personal development in the areas of education, financial literacy, and health and wellness.
Okay. All right. So can I see the glorious book? So tell us a little bit about the book.
So Her 20-Somethings is kind of like a guide to help you transition from pain to purpose. So in the book, there's 20 life lessons that you should know. So a couple of examples are how to find your purpose, or how there's an expiration date on blaming the past, or how to set and get goals, how to develop personal core values. So stuff like that. And then in the back of the book, there's 20 quotes from 20 influential women that I look up to or that I love. And some of those are like Shanita Foster or Erica Dixon or Vivica Fox. They all did quotes for me. So yeah, like the book, I wrote the book so that young women could have a guide of how you can develop and become who you're supposed to be and who God called you to be, even when you go through pain or when you go through trials and tribulations or obstacles.
So tell us a little bit about the process of writing the book.
Okay, so for me, the process was very difficult when I first started.
Okay.
But once I got the hang of it, and the problem is when you decide that you want to write a book, you have to be committed to it. So a lot of times people are interested in writing a book, but they're not committed to it. Mm-hmm. So when you hit those roadblocks and things, it's kind of like, oh, I'm just going to give up, or I'll do it when I have time,
right, versus
being committed to writing the book, and then it goes by a lot smoother. So once I began to get committed to writing the book, the process went way smoother. But you definitely have to come up with a title for the book. I did my title before I actually started writing the book.
Okay.
So it would be good to come up with a title. That way you can kind of bounce off of the title ideas in the book and stuff like that. And then come up with a subtitle. So a good thing to do with the subtitles is to maybe come up with 10 different subtitles. And then from there, narrow it down to 5.
Okay. And
then maybe do like a Survey Monkey and send it to your top 10 close people in your circle of influence. Mm-hmm. Maybe mentors, maybe like a best friend, maybe your parents, someone like that. And then narrow those down to 2. And then you decide which one you like better. So that's how I chose my subtitles for the book. And then think about how you want the cover to look. So start working on the book cover. And then, of course, you should be writing in the process of all of this. So for me, I actually wrote the book before I did the cover, which is a good thing. So you should look into finishing up writing the book before you get the cover done.
Okay.
So after you write the book, then go into editing. So find a great editor who's good with grammatical errors, systematic things, forming ideas. So for me, I'm not the best writer, but my editor was able to take a lot of the ideas I had and kind of form them together to make sure that they flowed correctly.
Got it.
Yeah, so editing and then publishing.
Okay.
Which is the last part in the process of writing a book.
Okay. So basically, it's most important that you come up with the great content.
Right, definitely.
Okay, good to know. So tell us a little bit about how long that took. Was it a couple of months? Was it a couple of years?
So once I became committed to writing the book, it took 3 months.
Okay.
3 months to write the book. And I had to come up with a consistent schedule. So for me, I was writing the book, I was going to school full-time, I was working a full-time job, and I was operating my nonprofit all at the same time. So my writing schedule was a bit weird. I was writing from like 12 midnight to 3 in the morning. And I did that consistently for 5 days. 5 days out the week, I would write constantly every day from 12 to 3.
Wow. Okay, did y'all just hear her tell us that we ain't got time for no excuses, basically? She just listed about 8 things she's doing currently, and she wrote a book. So, there you have it.
Get on it.
So during your writing process, did you ever have writer's block? And if so, how did you overcome it?
So in the beginning, I had a lot of writer's block until I started developing my personal writing style. So a lot of people will try to tell you how to write the book, but you have to do what works for you. So for me, I wrote based off of emotion. So I came up with an entire table of contents, and then whatever day that I wrote, I did based off how I felt. So if I felt like writing about purpose, I could pour my all into writing about purpose. So you don't necessarily have to go from beginning to end, or start at the end, or start in the middle, and go in order.
Right.
I wrote based off of emotion. So I kind of eliminated the writer's block because I wrote what I felt at that time. So just find what works good for you. You don't have to start from the beginning, because what happens is if you try to start from the beginning and just go straight through, that's how you form writer's block, because then it's like, okay, well, what can I write about next? So just kind of outline the entire book, come up with a table of contents, and then that way you can pick things. So this chapter, I feel like writing this chapter, and then that way you can actually get it done, because it's like, I feel this right now, and then you just do that. So that's how you eliminate the writer's block.
All right, so tell us some of the resources you used while writing the book.
So my dad is actually an author of 4 books. So
it runs in the family.
It does. So I went to him a lot of times. Like if I was writing, if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, I'd call him like, Daddy, what do you think about this? Like, I got to do this. So that was one of my biggest resources. That outside of Google was my best friend. So I had to do a lot of research for my book, because I am only 23 and my book is about her 20-somethings. So I had to do a lot of research to kind of figure out ways or things that I could put into the book that will reach other generations as well.
So we just heard about how to write the book and that process. So let's get into publishing.
The fun part.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about that process.
So publishing is actually really easy. It's not as hard as people make it sound like. I'm not very familiar with the publishing company aspect of it, but I self-published.
Okay.
So for me, I used a company called CreateSpace. And it's very easy. Like what you do before you start writing the book is you can download a template from their website, and it'll have the size of the book that you're doing. That way, when you're writing, it's already formatted. So all you do is once you finish writing and get it edited and have your cover and everything done, you just submit it to CreateSpace. It takes about 48 hours for them to approve it, and then you just send it off for them to start making the copies. So it's extremely easy. So don't let not knowing how to publish or which route to take stop you from not writing the book or not getting it done, because it's very easy. So self-publishing, you can use CreateSpace, and there's a lot of other companies out there that do self-publishing. I'm just very familiar with CreateSpace, and it's very easy, like 1, 2, 3 steps on their website to help you get it done.
Okay. So how long does that process take?
That's like 48-hour turnaround time. Once you submit your book, it takes them about 24 to 48 hours to approve it, make sure the formatting is correct, the cover is on there right, because they don't do the editing. So you have to get your editing done before you actually send it in. So find a good editor. If you need an editor and you're writing a book now, just talk to Kaya and she'll send me the information and I can get you a great editor. But yeah, once you finish the editing process, just upload the book to CreateSpace, and it takes about 48 hours.
Wow. Okay. So tell us a little bit about why you chose self-publishing over traditional publishing.
Well, the first reason is because my dad, which was one of my biggest resources, he self-published all of his books.
Okay.
And then I actually researched the difference between self-publishing and actually using a publishing company. When you self-publish, you get to keep all of your profits. So depending on what kind of contract you're in with the publishing company, they will get, some royalties off the book, or they'll get to keep like a percentage depending on exactly what they do for you and the book process. So the easiest way for me was to do self-publishing. It was very easy, not really time consuming, and I get to keep 100% of my profit.
Right. So what type of connections did you have to make to get your book published?
Okay, here's the big secret. You don't need any connections. So to get your book published, you don't need any connections. you can do the self-publishing, and then they automatically put the book on Amazon for you, which is one of the top companies that you can have your book on. Amazon is a really big company. So they automatically put it on there. They automatically give you a Kindle version. So you have it on Kindle automatically. Mine isn't on Kindle because it's actually very interactive. Okay. So I didn't want to make it on Kindle and then you not be able to write in it as well. So you don't need any connections. If you want to get it like in Barnes & Noble or any other bookstores, there's a process that you go through with the company. So you just reach out to the company, and that's a simple letter or going up to your local Barnes & Noble and asking them what their specific process is.
All right, Zakiyrah. Now I want to get just a little bit of your advice.
Sure.
What are your 3 tips to successfully writing a book at your best?
So my first tip would be create a writing schedule. Okay. So we talked a little bit about that, but definitely create a writing schedule and stick to it because it'll help you kind of outline where you want to go with the book, and then it'll put you on a timeline. So if you have a writing schedule, you'll know, okay, the book will be done by this time. So get on a writing schedule, that way you're consistently writing the same time each day, and then your body will become immune to when you're writing, and then it'll help you focus more. Okay. So that's the first tip. The second tip is be consistent. Be consistent, and that's consistent with writing, consistent with your writing style, consistent with your information. Just be consistent. Consistency produces results. And my third tip would be passionate about what you're writing about. Like, don't just write about something just because writing a book looks fun and you want to write a book. Mm-hmm. Have some passion behind what you're writing about. So, all
right, Zakiyrah, thank you so much for joining today's episode.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Tell the viewers how they can keep up with you.
You can catch me on Instagram at Zakiyrah, and that's ZAKIYRAH, or my website, www.zakiyrahficklin.com.
Okay, great. So, all right, we hope that you guys learned so much on how to write a book today. Hey, if you're in your 20-somethings, you need to add this to your book club list.
Yes.
So cute. It's on Amazon. You can get it now.
Yes, you can get it right now on Amazon or my website. And I've gotten great reviews off this book, and I'm not just saying that because I wrote it. People are loving it. So please, 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 if you're in a stuck area or a dry season in your life and you just don't know what to do or where to go, and you really want to develop and start to walk into who God called you to be, this book will definitely help you. I promise.
And there you have it. So we hope you all enjoyed today's interview, and always remember, if you're stuck, just start.
Just
Amen?
start. Amen.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.